Today I'm going to be discussing a cult of lies, trauma, manipulation, and deception. A cult that was recently joined by Birdie. Over the past few weeks, I've had the displeasure of being informed about this situation multiple times by various different people, and as such, I decided to tip my head down, have a little look at what was on the ground, and what I saw was a absolute steaming pile of, well, I can't say that for ads, but you know what I'm referring to. I found out that there was a cult that was being ran through YouTube and other social media that involved animal abuse, zoophilia, doxing, all of this stuff. And then I found out yesterday that Birdie has apparently joined this cult. And as such, I feel like it's my turn to discuss this topic, throw my hat in the ring, give some information that will hopefully advise your opinion on this situation, and help you and inform you on what's going on. But before I do so, I'd like to lay a few trigger warnings out because this video covers a lot of very serious topics and I don't want anyone to be adversely affected. If any of these things may affect you in any way, click off of the video. Those trigger warnings are animal abuse, self-harm, zoophilia, doxing, predatory behavior, and more. So basically, this video is a whole kablammy of... I can't believe I just used the word kablammy, unironically. This video is a mess of different trauma, so... yeah. But if you've also never had the displeasure of seeing my ugly fucking mug, welcome to the HarleyTBS YouTube channel. We're past 30 seconds so I can swear, and as such, I'd like to give you my little self-promo section at the start of the video. If you've never seen me before, please do leave a like and subscribe. Most viewers find me annoying, as a certain 16-year-old would say, but I hope that you don't, and if you do, maybe by the end of this video, you will not find me as annoying. But if you do, just subscribe anyway. You can always unsubscribe in a few months if you don't ever find me not annoying. A lot of people don't like my videos at first, but come to like me by a few weeks from then. And also, I'm not a furry. By turning on notifications on the channel as well, it should mean that you get notified whenever I upload, especially if you click all notifications, but knowing YouTube, it still probably won't. So, if you want to check out my other social media like my Twitter, which is on the way to 3,000 followers, I believe we're 180 away, you can follow me there. That'll be highly appreciated as well, as I want to get to 3k there, and turning on notifications there, or just following me in general, means that you'll see my posts whenever I post a video. So, please check me out there, that'll be highly appreciated. Also, my Discord, you'll always get a ping every time my video goes up, so that's a great way to also see the content, but if you don't like the pings, you can just mute it, but you can talk to me there, basically. It's a great platform to communicate with you guys, have a bit of fun, all of that shit. And I just appreciate your support in general. But if you want to go the extra mile and support me just a little bit more than the regular person, I have a Patreon, Ko-fi, and a join button all down below. By checking out any of those methods, you can support me financially so I can invest money back into these videos. I intend to buy a camera for videos in the next few weeks, so if you subscribe and donate, you'll help me get there. That'll be appreciated. With that being said though, let's get right back into the video, and I've been delaying it because I really don't want to talk about it, but let's discuss the cult. DICE is an online cult run primarily on the platform of Discord, where the server owners actively promote their users to post self-harm images, despite the owner being attracted to that, and also, they have a few set guidelines that you can see to get into this cult, which we can find online. One of those being that they promote the fake regression and child abuse within their server by saying that there's a separate section for people that are underage or regressing. And while I do definitely believe that there are people that age regress normally, obviously that's a thing that happens, especially from trauma, and I'm not shaming anyone for doing that. This section could very easily be taken advantage of by predators pretending to age regress to get in contact with minors and talk to them in ways that they should not. And also, the owner of this platform promotes self-harm. While they say that it's not a cult, it's just a family, which is a very well-known method of people getting tricked into joining cults. And while they furthermore say that it's not intended to be a cult, it very much is. It fits all the definitions. There's a video I'll link below that goes through that. But basically, this is a cult, cut and dry. And also, they promote self-harm. The owner of this cult is a huge fan of self-harm actually, to the point where they say that it turns them on, and when someone told them that they were self-harming for the cult leader called it cute. And while they say that they don't endorse this behavior, they very clearly do. Looking at these posts that I'm showing on screen, you'll see how they're endorsing this behavior. They're saying that they're not against it, they're saying that they allow it, and they're saying that they're attracted to it. This is very clearly what this server owner is using to put these people in a dynamic where they have to listen to all the moderators, otherwise they can be banned, and that they should post self-harm images to this server, which are then obviously being used as probably masturbation material by the server owner, which is fucking despicable. It's despicable to use kids in a way to sexually please yourself. But more than anything, the problems with this cult are mainly how it's presented. This cult is presented as a family and a safe space for young people or people struggling, obviously struggling as they're self-harming when they're joining this cult. If self-harming kids are joining this platform that's being promoted as a family and a safe space, they could very easily be taken advantage of by the people in this cult in various different ways. And given the co-owner of this cult has posted CP before, according to another video on this situation, this cult is not a safe space for minors, and very clearly is going to get them manipulated in some kind of way into various different things they don't want to do, as can be seen by some people that were in the cult that have discussed this. Now I'd like to focus on the owner, Necrofilic, and all of their recent behaviour. This is the main owner and the one that is the primary target of this video, as they are one of the biggest problems here. They're called Mortis, and I'll be referring to them as both of the names throughout this whole section. Mortis is a zoophile who, on their own record, has done the bad with one of their pets, and also is a necrophiliac, with the belief that nothing's wrong with sleeping with dead animals, and also that they've apparently done it as well, which again, absolutely fucking despicable. The belief that it's okay to in any way involve yourself sexually with an animal that can't consent is a terrible mindset and absolutely reprehensible. Holy fucking shit, the fact that I have to state that in a video makes me feel so depressed at the state of the world we live in. But that on its own would not constitute all of the problems that I see here. From attraction to self-harm, to harassing people, especially the persons that called them out, for example, where they mocked a trans person, that they dead named them, and a bunch of that shit, which is despicable on its own, but also the fact that they've doxed other people, and used to have an IP grabber in the card that you would go to try and join the cult, which is a terrifying situation. I worry the amount of control they have in this cult. They could claim that they have people's personal information, and that if that person speaks out, they would dox them, or do a various multitude of different things, and also the way they present themselves and target young, impressionable kids that are already struggling with their mental health is threatening in itself. They could very clearly promote more self-harm to these kids that are already struggling, and make them believe that self-harm is an okay and logical solution to deal with your struggles, which it isn't. If you're self-harming, you should be speaking to a therapist. That should be your main goal. Your main goal should be getting out of that cycle, because that cycle is not safe for you. That cycle will only lead to more pain, and will only drive you into a deeper rabbit hole, as morbid as that sounds. If you are struggling with self-harm, this is an important message to you. If you are struggling with self-harm, your mental health, all of that shit, you should speak to a therapist. But now let's get into Birdie, everybody's not favourite YouTuber, who's been called out in the past for various different things, from apparently drawing CP to their terrible behaviour in general, which there are multiple videos on. This video isn't one of those. But I feel it's important to clarify this at the start, because it'll explain how Birdie is outcasted from the community, and as such has ended up in this cult trying to find people that are like-minded to their despicable behaviour. Now, for a long while, Mortis was the equivalent of a stalker fan to Birdie, drawing literal sexualized art between them and Birdie, which should constitute sexual harassment if Birdie was to try and take problem with that. But obviously this wasn't something new for Mortis, as they've also done it with their exes, which is absolutely gross. But this apparently wasn't actually how Mortis ended up getting in contact with Birdie, as it seems that another member in this cult ended up reaching out to Birdie, and when Birdie made contact with them, they ended up convincing Birdie to join the cult, which has then led to the predicament we're in right now. Birdie has a platform of almost 100,000 subscribers, of which a lot of these people could very easily be impressioned into copying Birdie's actions and ending up in similar predicaments, like this cult. Birdie is only 16 and obviously isn't in a very good place mentally, given the things I've previously mentioned that they were called out for, and as such it's very clear that Birdie is obviously being manipulated into joining this cult and this very toxic environment. And if this could happen to Birdie, it could very easily happen to their audience that already follows Birdie and will copy their footsteps. Say for example Birdie was to promote this cult in some kind of way, their audience of probably similar aged people that already follow Birdie despite their despicable actions could end up thinking that this sort of thing is normal or acceptable and end up joining this cult or a different cult similar and end up in another predicament like this one where they're being taken advantage of by adults and being manipulated into doing sexual, self-harm related things which would put their safety at jeopardy. This cult does not care about looking after the people involved in it, and it wouldn't care about looking after the impressionable fans from Birdie that could end up becoming victims to this cult. They'll believe that they're going to be well treated and helped by the family following their idol Birdie because they trust Birdie, as most people put a lot of trust in their favourite content creators. I know that a lot of people have a lot of trust in what I say, which is why I'm very careful about what I say and script all my videos ahead of time, and Birdie has that similar trust. A lot of their audience will, by default, just put trust in them and copy them and believe that their decisions are the right decisions and believe that they can do no wrong. And they could see this helpful family and think, well, I would like a community like that I can feel safe in, and end up in this community that actively dead names people knowing that they're trans because they find it funny, and also manipulates them into getting self-harm images off of them so that they can use them as jack-off material. Basically, TLDR, this cult is a terrible place for any child, or any adult for that matter. This cult is not a safe place to be in, it's not a safe place for this mindset, and all it does is promote more further harm to yourself and to other people. And Birdie's involvement with it should be a problem. Birdie should get out of this situation as quick as possible. But in conclusion, let's just quickly go over a few of the bullet points that I want to mention, mainly just as a condensed summary for those that skip to the end for this sort of conclusion type section. So let me give you that rundown now. This cult is dangerous for a multitude of reasons, from the potential possession of CP between the members and sharing, according to some sources, to the zoophilia and promotion of that within this community, which could lead to more animals being harmed in various different ways, to the promotion of self-harm within this server, and the acceptance of people that are fake age regressing, getting involved with minors and taking advantage of them in various different ways to cause more harm and jeopardy to their safety. Also, Birdie's membership to this cult could have a huge impact on their audience, which could lead to their audience thinking that this environment is safe or acceptable, and end up getting themselves in a predicament where they are taken advantage of by a lot of adults that are trying to use them for jack-off material, or for self-harm images, or for a multitude of different things, from taking advantage of minors and warping their mind into believing that this cult environment is safe, and basically praising this adult because they're clearly targeting people that are mentally unwell, and using them for that to try and convince them that they'll be happy if they're in a situation where they're literally praying to you, basically. And the track record of this cult and many other cults that exist similar to this cult aren't very good. The safety of people within these communities is often jeopardized, as there are many people that have come out with their stories from this community or similar communities, and all of them echo the same sentiment, that this community only promotes terrible behavior like self-harm and only leads to people already struggling with pre-existing mental health conditions to spiral further and further and end up in positions where they're being taken advantage of and continuing to hurt themselves believing it's the okay thing to do. These situations can be compared to the type of groups that are seen with eating disorders, where everyone in the group continues telling other people to continue starving themselves or going through that traumatic cycle, and so everyone in that community seems to believe that it's the okay or right thing to do. They basically get manipulated into believing that hurting themselves is the solution instead of getting help for it, and ends up causing the problem to be worse than before. There's a reason communities like these should never exist, because they promote an unhealthy mindset that ends up hurting everyone involved with them. But if you'd like more information on this whole situation as a whole, as I obviously very briefly went through it and very quickly condensed all the information down into bullet points basically, you could check out Dreary.Dreamer's videos. They've made 3 of them, and all of them have been incredibly well made and informative as a whole, and I really appreciate them condensing this information down so that my job becomes easier. I will link their videos down below, but if I forget, their channel is on screen now. Please go check them out and support them. That would be highly appreciated. Send them some love from me and tell them that HarleyTBS sent you. Anyway, that's where I hop off the infinity train. If you like videos like these, you can subscribe to the channel. It would be highly appreciated. I'm aiming for 30k by the end of the year, which we're already blowing past. I'm considering this video the point where we've hit 27k as of uploading this, and as such, I appreciate that support a lot. The recent support I've received has allowed me to be able to make more videos that get more awareness than normal, where I can bring attention to more serious topics like this one. I do appreciate your support, as you help me make the world better video by video. Or maybe I'm giving myself a little bit too much credit. You can turn on notifications down below to support the channel further. That would also highly be appreciated, as it means you get notified every time I upload. And furthermore, if you want to go the extra mile, my Twitter, Discord, and Instagram, all in the description, amongst other social media. So if you want to support me on different platforms like those, you can, and it would also be highly appreciated. Obviously, when I make this type of content, I don't really aim for my promos to be the main focus to be taken away from the video, but obviously I do have to mention them. So if you do want to support me, that would be really cool and highly appreciated. Furthermore, obviously Discord, other social media down below. Thank you. And before I forget, I'm trying to buy a camera for these videos so that I can improve the quality, and I'm also currently in the midst of trying to work on a video where I capture and contain I'm making it sound like an SCP novel, a silver YouTube play button, which would be insane if I could pull it off. So if you could support these videos by donating to my Patreon, Ko-fi, or join button down below, that would also be highly appreciated and would help me make more very interesting content for you. I feel like that would be a video that a lot of people would enjoy. So if it does sound like something you'd enjoy, feel free to put your well-earned V-Bucks in my unearned pockets. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. If you made it to the end, just comment sus. And I'll see you next time. Peace.
Said she wanna rock with it like me. I'm a stylish guy. Spend a little guap with it like me. We can catch a fly. Said she wanna rock with it like me.